What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. Today we got a hell of a show for you. Jon Jones is back. We're going to get into that and see how that card went. Valentina Shevchenko fought this past weekend. There's a great UFC card just to recap and everything. And then we're going to look ahead at a great UFC fight night coming ahead next weekend, as well as Bellator 292. So we're going to jump into it and try to make this a quicker episode. The beer we have for you today, though, it's from the Kona Brewing Company. It's the Big Wave, and I actually featured this on the show sometime last year. It's a really good beer. I just haven't had time to get to a liquor store or anywhere where I can get a different variety than what I've already had. But that being said, let's jump into the fights. Jon Jones, he's back. He went out, he fought Cyril Gane, 3 years layoff, and he comes back, just imposes his will. I think it's 2 minutes. He gets a takedown on Gane, and then immediately just kind of mounts him up against the fence and locks in a guillotine, taps him in seconds. I mean, he made it look easy. He might be better at heavyweight because he's still moving like a light heavyweight, but he's got all this extra power now. His next fight's going to be against Stipe Miocic in July. GOAT versus GOAT, best UFC heavyweight of all time versus the best UFC fighter of all time, best MMA fighter of all time, and Jon Jones. That's going to be nuts, but Jon Jones definitely, when he came back, he cemented himself as the best of all time. There's no argument. Anybody that was disputing that must have just forgotten how dominant this man is, but he made it look easy against one of the best heavyweights in the world in Cyril Gane. And then the fight before that, the co-main event, we had Valentina Shevchenko. She was fending off against Alexa Grasso, trying to keep her flyweight strap. Valentina was doing good. She was landing good shots, just a good variety of body, leg, and head shots. Top control. She was controlling the grappling exchanges until she wasn't. In the fourth round, Alexa Grasso, she just does a real quick sweep, takes Valentina's back, locks the hooks in, and gets a rear naked choke on her. Fourth round with less than a minute to go in the round as well. Valentina was on her way to win, but we got a new champion, Alexa Grasso, and that's 3 champions from Mexico in the past, I think just this year, or if not this year, then in the past 6 months, we've had 3 new champions from Mexico crowned with Yair Rodriguez, Brandon Moreno, and now Alexa Grasso, so they're doing something big down there. All right. Another exciting fight we had, Shavkat Rakhmonov. He took on Jeff Neal. Neal came into this fight missing weight by 4 pounds. He weighed in at 175. Rakhmonov, he's the boogeyman. Nobody's been able to come close or even make him look like he could be touched. They go out there, and it's really a slugfest. They're both cracking each other in the first round. Both have really big moments. Round 2, Rakhmonov starts really cracking the body. He's landing a few leg shots that really damaged Neal, but Neal's still fighting back. Just didn't seem to put his foot on the gas in that second round. Round 3, they both come out swinging. Neal has Rakhmonov hurt. Rakhmonov hurts Neal even worse. And then they get into a bit of a wrestling exchange. Rakhmonov hits a standing rear naked choke. Didn't have any hooks in, just standing straight up, strangling the guy from behind him. Gets the third round finish. He stays undefeated, and that's 17 wins, 0 losses, 17 finishes. The guy's unbelievable. He's not getting enough hype in the UFC welterweight division. Another fight between ranked opponents, we had Mathieu Gamrot, number 7 UFC lightweight, taking on number 10 in Jalen Turner. And this fight was fun. Turner was trying to get his strikes off. He just frustrated by Gamrot. Gamrot's wrestling is just so relentless. He can really keep the pressure. He just stays in your face, doesn't allow you to do anything. And Gamrot took this fight on 10 days notice, or he started training with 10 days to go because he took it on such short notice. So to come in and beat the number 10 guy, he took a short notice fight, fighting down against a guy that's way bigger than him, 6'3" versus like 5'8" for Gamrot or 5'10", and he goes out there and he gets the victory by decision. It was a really impressive performance. The guy's game, he just wants to fight, it seems like. All right, and then finally last fight we had on the main card, we had Bo Nickel. He took on Jamie Pickett, made it look easy. He goes out there, not really a whole lot of work on the feet, gets the takedown, and just for about a minute and a half, he was working towards an arm triangle until he got Pickett to tap. So Bo Nickel, undefeated, 4-0 in MMA, and his first UFC fight is a first-round victory as well. So sky's the limit for the guy. We'll have to see what comes next. we didn't get to see a lot. Just like with Jon Jones, we didn't get to see a lot. It sucks. You want to see that kind of stuff. And on the prelims, we had Cody Garbrandt. He bounces back, defeats Trevin Jones by a unanimous decision. He looked really good in round 1. He was okay in round 2. In round 3, he just looked like he was playing it really conservative. Didn't look like he wanted to lose the fight or get knocked out after he had already been up by 2 rounds. We also had Dricus du Plessis. He took on Derek Brunson, took the man out. It was a great first round. They both cracked each other. Big shots from both men. Round 2, they both looked absolutely gassed, and they're still cracking each other with big shots. Du Plessis, he drops Brunson with a series of punches, gets him on the ground, and just some vicious ground and pound causes Brunson's corner to throw the towel in with 1 second left in the second round. But it should have been stopped anyways at that time. He was getting cracked, and they were huge shots, not being defended, straight to the face, bouncing off the canvas. It was a mess. Brunson's a beast, but Du Plessis, he's a warrior. He always looks exhausted. I missed that fight. I called Brunson. I called the upset, but Du Plessis is just impressing every time. I never pick the guy, and he always shocks me. I think he's 5-0 or 6-0 in the UFC now. So, dude's a beast. And then we also had Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis. He took on Marc-Andre Barriault. Round 1, they go out there. Barriault looks like he does not want to be there. Just doesn't look like he's into it. Doesn't know what's going on. Marquez is piecing him up, landing some big shots with boxing combinations, and he seems like he lost his gas tank in the second round, and that's when Barriault got his timing. Barriault gets his timing down, and he just unleashes a relentless onslaught. Just pushes Marquez up against the cage, punches, kicks, knees, elbows, just nonstop. It seemed like for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes before the ref had to step in and wave the fight off. Marquez, tough-ass dude. He took a lot of damage and didn't go down. The ref had to save him from himself because that man was going out on his shield. And then we also got to see Jan Machado Gary. He took on Song Kenan, and he battled some adversity in this one. He got knocked down in the first round. It looked like he was going to get knocked out. He was really rocked. He was fucked up. He was getting pieced up on the ground with the ground and pound after that, trying to get back to his feet. But he got his wits back in the second round, really got his timing, started popping his jab, just perfect jab right on the nose of Song Kenan. And then round 3, he just starts piecing him up big time, landing combinations. He landed a 5 or 6 punch combination and ends up dropping Kenan and then finishes him off with ground and pound. Jan Gary's undefeated. This kid, he's a beast. He says he's going to be a UFC champion someday. I can see it. He's got power. He's got the range. I don't know what his ground game's like because we haven't seen anybody really take him down or try to hold him down yet. But his striking is phenomenal. He's one of those kids that grew up in Ireland watching Conor McGregor, so that's what he's modeled after. And he really does fight a lot like Conor. He has that style it's like a striking flow. He just gets in a flow state, and you can tell it's over with. He's done. He's got it. And then finally for the UFC card, Cameron Saaiman, he took on Mara Martinez. Saaiman, he goes out there, and first fight he had a point docked. I forget what it was for, but this fight, kicks Mara Martinez in the nuts twice in round 1, gets a point taken. He's piecing him up, so it's probably a 9-9 round after that. Round 2, he goes out there, pieces the guy up again. He's doing a lot of damage, just really quick strikes. He's being conscious of his groin kicks, though. He's not wanting to throw those. And Mara Martinez is fighting back. He's landing some shots, just nothing compared to what Saaiman's landing. Then round 3, Saaiman's doing a lot of the same. Eye poke. Pokes him right in the eye. Takes Mara Martinez a little while to recover, but he comes back. They don't end up taking a point. It should have been a point deduction, I think. It was a really bad eye poke, and he'd been warned about his weapons multiple times up to that point. He's not deducted a point, so he walks away with the majority decision victory. Two judges say he won, one had it a tie. But regardless, the guy's a beast. He just needs to be more careful with his fighting. I don't think he's a dirty fighter. I don't think he's paying close enough attention. He's a little reckless with that, with his weapons. But yeah, that's what we had for the UFC 285 card. It did not disappoint. It was really just a great card all around. A lot of great fights. We got to see Jon Jones crown the heavyweight champion, cementing himself as the best of all time. We got to see Valentina Shevchenko cracking the armor. We've never seen her lose at flyweight. And she goes out there, gets beat by Alexa Grasso after, I think, 7 previous title defenses. She was going to fill the belt up with this one. She would have had all 8 sides of the octagon notched with rubies, but she didn't get it because Grasso took her out. It's crazy how the sport works, but it was a great card, great weekend. I'm still hurting from the card last night. Our picks did great, though, for the most part. We went 5-2. We missed the Brunson fight. We missed the Shevchenko fight. What do you do? 16-8 on the year, so we're doing all right. And then looking ahead to next weekend, we got a great UFC Fight Night card. This whole next month of fights, just phenomenal. This weekend coming up, though, we got Merab Dvalishvili taking on Petr Yan on UFC Fight Night. And that card is just stacked. They're going to put Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann on it. That's going to be a remake or a makeup fight from a couple weeks ago when Krylov got sick. They also have Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. That's going to be a great fight. And then Jonathan Martinez, he's taking on Said Nurmagomedov. Said Nurmagomedov's an absolute killer in there. Every part of his body's a weapon. The dude's a badass. And yeah, we're gonna have a pick'em on this card coming out later this week. Make you some money. This is going to be a fun one to bet on. A lot of fun fights. I can't wait to talk about it more, but we'll get into that later this week. And then also Friday night next week, we got Bellator 292. It's going to be it's going to have MVP. He's taking on, let me get this name right. It's Michael Venom Page taking on Gody Yamauchi. I don't know. He's taking on this Goiti Yamauchi, and the guy's supposed to be a grappling god. MVP's like a striking god, so it'll be a good clash. See how it turns out. And then in the main event on that card, it's got Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin, Usman Nurmagomedov, Bellator lightweight champion. He's taking on former UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson. So that's going to be a fun fight. I can't wait for that one. Nurmagomedov's undefeated. Benson's been surging as of late, so it'll be fun to see how that goes. But yeah, that's what we got for you today. That's what's going on in the combat sports world. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Matt with Blood and Beer.